I mean, I feel like I could just punt this car. I can simultaneously touch the front of the car and the back of the car at the exact same time. So I am right in the middle of a ton of cars that are actually going to be ran at auction today for dealers to buy. All right, so even though this is a repo, even though it's got higher mileage, it's got 159,000 miles, even though the front end is smashed in on it, I still want to check this car just so you can see what something that is a repo, that does have some damage, that does have higher mileage, what kind of price a dealer will actually pay for this. So I'll show you what this is, a 2015 Charger, and it's got 159,000 miles. There's your damage right there. And other than that, the outside looks okay. Inside, you can see plenty of wear. It's pretty dirty, but nothing that can't be cleaned, and that little armrest can be fixed. But it might be just a nice exercise for you guys to see what a repo with damage, and it looks like it hasn't really been taken care of all that well, what a dealer is going to pay for this. And we'll watch it as it goes through, and I'll give you guys the price at the end. What we're seeing at a lot of these used car dealer auctions is that inventory here at these auctions is starting to creep up just a little bit. And it's not really a product, I think, of new car dealers selling more, meaning they're getting more trade-ins and sending them to the auction. What it is, I think, is a factor of no sales. And that's what we're seeing go through a lot of these auctions. We're seeing a lot of if bids, a lot of no sales start to creep up at these auctions, because these cars just aren't bringing as much money as they were a month, 2 months ago, and these franchise dealers are very reluctant to sell their cars and to actually cut their prices and move them on. And here's a little smart car. I've actually never been inside of it. It looks like I feel like I could just punt this car. This thing is so tiny. I don't know how anyone feels safe in this thing at all. It's locked. Please be open. I just want to sit in it. There we go. Oh my goodness, look how tiny that car is. All right, let's sit in it. There's no back seat, as you would expect. And this one just happens to sound like it's a diesel. Oh, all right, let's just turn it off. I'm not gonna drive it. I don't wanna drive it. I wouldn't feel safe in it anyway, because I can simultaneously touch the front of the car and the back of the car at the exact same time from the inside. So what's happening is, as you get these franchise dealers that would normally bring maybe 30 cars a week, and the no sale rate right now is somewhere hovering around 50%, then they're going to end up selling about 15 cars out of that 30. So what happens now with those 15 cars? Those 15 cars that were not sold, they're going to rerun them again the next week, and they're going to bring another 30 cars the next week. So now, instead of running traditionally 30 cars like they usually do, they have 45 cars. And then you go to the next week and they're going to sell 50% of those. And what's going to end up happening is they keep stacking on top of each other, and that's why we're seeing a little bit more inventory come through the system at these used car dealer auctions. All right, this Honda Pilot has 281,000 miles. And this is one actually I think we should check. And I know you're saying, well, that's ridiculous. No one would pay any amount of money for a Honda Pilot with 281,000 miles. But I think you're going to be surprised. And that's why I want to show you still that prices are crazy. Even something like this, we don't know what it's going to bring yet, but I know it's going to be a lot of money just because it's a Honda Pilot, even with those miles. And it's clean. It looks like it's been taken care of. The outside looks good, but I think it's just a good example to show that if it's a good car, if it's a Honda, if it's a Toyota, it's going to go for a lot of money. So it's a 2004 Honda Pilot. It's got 281,000 miles on it. All right, here's a 2012 Raptor. This truck's actually been here for like 3 weeks, and they still haven't sold it yet. And let's throw like a mid-tier car into the picture too. So this is a 2008. It's a Hyundai Sonata. It's got 141,000 miles. This is something similar to what I would buy. I think because the miles are like 141 and not over in that like 180 range, I'm probably not going to be able to buy it to be able to keep it to where my customer can really afford it. But we'll check it anyway and look at it and see what the price is on it. But it's a 2008 Hyundai Sonata, and it's got 141,000 miles on it. All right, so when I'm going through all these cars and I'm checking them to see what I actually want to buy for my dealership, I scan them with my scan tool. And today I've got the X Tool IP508 that I'm going to try out. I really like the scanner. It does all your live data. It does your O2 monitor system test, onboard monitor test. It does really everything that I'm going to need to be able to check out these cars to see if I actually want to buy them. And specifically right now is I want to check to see if it's got any codes in it, any kind of problems that we know that we're going to have to fix. It does lots of other stuff. I'll actually put some details right here about what it does and why it's so good. All right, so this scanner is actually telling me that this vehicle has no stored codes in it, and monitors are all ready. So this is one that I know I'm not going to have to do a lot of work on, and we can go ahead and get inspected for my dealership, get it cleaned up and get it ready to go. And how I know this is by using this tool. So we're going to have a link in the description below, so you can actually order one of these, and we're going to have a coupon code for my viewers to get a discount on this scanner. So if you're looking for a scanner, go check them out. All right, so this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. This is the CX-5 you saw last week in the video, and it's still here, so it no sold. I know it got put on an if, but apparently they couldn't get together on price. And just to recap, nasty, nasty, nasty. See if they clean it up any at all. Nope. It's so frustrating about these dealers with, hopefully I didn't mess up the mic there, that run these cars to the auction. I mean, they can make so much more money on a car, especially like that. It's going to bring so much more money if they just do like an hour detail job on it. Like it could be thousands of dollars difference. And these franchise dealers, they have the resources to be able to do that. So it's just very curious to me, and I see this all the time. I mean, maybe they know better than I do. Maybe they don't think it's worth it and they just want to ship everything straight to the auction and not even have to deal with it. But it just seems to me that that they could be making a lot more money on their wholesale side if they just spend an hour on each car just making it presentable, make it look like something that actually me as a independent dealer would want to buy. All right, here's a good one for us to check. It's a 2013 F-150. It's got 148,000 miles. It's a Lariat. Actually, it's got aftermarket wheels on it. They look pretty good. Actually, inside's pretty rough. I think that's really the only bad spot on it. Seats actually look okay, but we'll check this and see what kind of price it brings here. It's a, what was it? It's a 2013 F-150. It's got 148,000 miles on it. And what I think is actually going to happen is there's going to be a time frame where these franchise dealers just get tired of looking at these cars week after week after week. And it seems like when this happens, it usually happens after tax time. And now the money's all dried up. The sales have all dried up. A lot of these dealers are actually getting pinched and they're not wanting to buy new cars. So what they're doing is they're basically pulling out of the auction, or they're only buying these cars if they're deals. And franchise dealers are not wanting to give away deals right now at these auctions. So we're going to continue to see some of this inventory stack up at these auctions because it's just going to be no sale after no sale after no sale, week after week after week. And as that continuously happens, inventory stacks up. We're going to have more inventory at these auctions. And at some point, these dealers, are these franchise dealers, the ones that are actually selling these trade-ins here, they're going to cut bait, and that's when you're going to see prices on the wholesale level start to tank. And when you see them start to tank, then it'll be probably two months after that you'll start seeing downward pressure on the retail side. We're not there yet, but I think we're very close. All right, here's a good one to check. It's a 2014 Chevy Tahoe, and it's got 143,000 miles. The body on it looks good. Let's check the inside. Yeah, seats look good. Air is cold, I can feel it. It is running. Let's see here, we got a bunch of lights on. Looks like check engine light, traction control. But we'll check this to see what it brings. It's a 2014 Chevy Tahoe. It's got 143,000 miles.
It's showtime, 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 let's go.
All right, price time. So the 2004 Pilot that we looked at that had a ton of miles, that had 281,000 miles. This one actually surprised me. The reason why I took a video of it before the auction is because I wanted to show you that something like that was still going to bring crazy money. And it actually didn't. Now, a lot of you, because of the miles, are going to think it's still crazy money and very high mileage, but typically at the auction, at least this auction that I go to, any Honda Pilot's going to demand just crazy money. And this one actually got bidded off for $1,400, and the seller said no. And the seller said that what they had in it was $2,600. And maybe the seller was lying just to try to get the bidder to come up. It's probably the case. But for this, let's just say that the seller wasn't lying and they actually had $2,600 for it, meaning they traded for it, and on paper, they actually had $2,600 in this Pilot. They gave this customer that trade-in value with the anticipation that they would be able to sell it for a much higher price than $2,600 at the auction. And guess what? It didn't bring it. It only brought $1,400, but the seller said no. And the bidder said then that they would go up to $1,800, and the seller kind of made the disgruntled face or whatever, then eventually just said, you know what, sell it. So they sold it for $1,800. And I know that seems like a lot of money for this vehicle with that many miles, but being a Honda Pilot and what has happened in the last couple months, that's actually a lot less than it would have brought a month and a half ago. Maybe this means prices are coming down. Maybe this means sellers are now going to start dumping stuff for a cheaper price. I know we can't use just one example, but just because it's a Honda Pilot, they have been bringing stupid money, and this one did not, so it's a good sign. All right, the 2013 F-150 had 148,000 miles. It brought $15,200 in lane, and it sold. Okay, the 2008 Hyundai Sonata with 141,000 miles, I actually wanted to look at this. I wanted to buy it myself, but I figured with it having 141,000 miles, probably not going to be able to buy it to be able to sell it to a customer like mine. I would want to sell that Sonata on my lot for between $3,000 and $3,500. So that means I would have wanted to be in it for around $2,000 to $2,500, and it brought $2,900 in lane, and it sold. So it wasn't crazy far away from what I wanted to pay for it. If I could have got it for $2,500, I would have bought it. But something like that, probably a month and a half ago, it would have brought closer to $4,000. So it's just another good sign that it seems like prices are coming down just a little bit. All right, the 2014 Tahoe had 143,000 miles. It brought $9,100, and it was put on an if. But the auctioneer said that, you know what, we're not even in the same ballpark. They weren't even close. So that one's probably not getting done. There weren't a whole lot of bids on it, but even them just saying that they're not even close, it's probably going to be a no-sell. All right, that 2015 Charger had 159,000 miles. Remember, it was a repo. It had the front end smashed on it, and it had some interior issues, and it had high mileage. So it brought $6,500 in lane, and they sold it. So usually with repos, anytime I see them going through auction, especially at this smaller auction, with these repos being buy here, pay here dealer, they're typically going to dump any of these cars for just about whatever the car is going to bring. So in this particular case, a 2015 Charger, it brought $6,500, and they sold it. I didn't need to add in that last part. I just said literally the same thing twice in a row. Oh, all right. And that's all the cars I have. Even with this kind of miles, they're still demanding very big money, lots of money, whatever you want to say. It's going to go for a lot of money. So it's a 2004. All right, so I am in the middle. No, let's not start it right when they turn the camera on. That's how we get bad clips and we cut audio.